What's up, guys? Welcome to Back from Burnout. I'm actually going to be the host on Mel's channel today. She's a reselling mom from Australia, and I'm a reselling guy I'm recently married. So I'm in the United States. And today, the goal of this episode is to come up with 3 ideas that can help Mel grow her business. She's right around $800 profit, and we want to grow that to at least $2,000. This is a full-time income where she could support her family. She sells mainly in the categories of shoes, books, and apparel, stuff that most people can do in their area. And I love that because it's accessible. You're not selling wholesale truck parts that could be very expensive and difficult for someone to get into. So let's continue to talk about maybe making sourcing more efficient for you. So currently, give me an idea of where you get your goods.
I get most of my goods just from the local charity shops, and sometimes off Facebook and Gumtree, but the majority of it definitely comes from the charity shops.
That's awesome. Gumtree is like Craigslist here, I think.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
a classified site.
Yes.
So do you post ads there to have people bring stuff to you, or do you manually search? How do you approach that?
I've got both. I've got ads on there looking for stock, and I've got ads on there, and I go on there manually looking for stock. And I've got alerts set up on Facebook, so when certain things get listed, then I get the alert saying it's come up for sale.
That's great. Do you know if Australia has government auctions?
We do have some government auctions. Yeah, it's not something that I've dabbled in, but yeah, we definitely do have them.
So when do you check for new stock? Is it something you do every day? How do you organize that?
I normally source for stock, like if I'm going outsourcing to the charity shops, I normally will source about 3 or 4 times a week. And it just depends. Some days I just do 1 or 2 stores, and other days I go out for a little bit longer, like I might do half a day, 3, 4 hours at a time, and try and get multiple stores in a certain area. I try, and if I'm going over the other side of town, I try and keep it to a few hours so that I can, if I've got to drive a little bit longer to go to a particular shop, then I'll try and spend a few hours over that side of town doing multiple stores. If it's more local to me, I'll try and just pop in and do shorter runs.
How about estate sales? Is that common?
No, we don't really have estate sales here in Australia.
What happens when someone passes? Where do the goods go for that person?
I think most of the time it's the families who just clear it out here, and they either donate it off to the charity shops or sell things on Facebooks, hold a garage sale themselves.
Do you run into these types of sales sometimes?
Sometimes so we have garage sales mainly in the warmer months because it's pretty cold where I live during winter. So the garage sales are all starting to start up again now, and you will find garage sales where people are running it because their mother or father's passed away or something. So you will find deceased ones, but they're normally being run by family members.
How about, do you have any relationships with real estate agents?
Yes, my brother's actually a real estate agent. He
Great.
owns his own real estate agency, and I actually take the photos sometimes for his agency.
So let's talk about building relationships. Looks like you've got a handle on all the local things. The only thing that I do differently is I check every morning.
Yep.
So when it's 6 a.m. here, I get a reminder on my phone that says, look for broken items and good deals.
Okay.
So for me, broken items are awesome because people are too lazy to do a simple fix. So those are always the highest profit items. So I always look for broken, not working. Those are keywords that I look for each morning. And I feel like that is for you, since you don't have more time, if we can just improve the profit per deal, that's going to help you a lot. But in the end, I feel like we want to work on relationships because I would like some inventory coming to you instead of you having to go and get it. So I want to brainstorm some different ways to meet new people or network. How would you approach that?
Oh, I think as soon as you just said real estate there, and I just thought, that's crazy. I actually do know a lot of people in real estate that I could probably contact. And I'm figuring that you're meaning like contact the real estate. So when they are selling houses for deceased states, that you have that contact to go in maybe and get some of their stock.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's just kind of a bit of a light bulb there for me because I do have contacts in that industry between my brother and my cousin, and quite a few people. So I could actually easily make that kind of contact.
I always ask myself, where does the stock come from?
Yeah,
And charity shop stock comes from people, just
yeah,
regular people. They're getting it for free. And you can even charge people to pick up items. I just recently did that. I picked up 2 closets full of clothing for free. And she was going to donate it. I said, let me save you the trip. And it's interesting because real estate agents, not only when they're selling a new home, but also when they're leasing apartments, sometimes they need the help clean it out so that the next person can move in quickly.
yep,
So depending on the size of the units in larger complexes, when people move, sometimes they just leave all that stuff on the curb
yep,
and it just gets thrown away
yeah. They
or
just
picked up.
they sometimes they would just rather somebody come and pick it up from their doorstep than them have to make the trip to the charity stop.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here we have a company called 1-800-JUNK,
Mhm.
and they charge people to pick up the stuff that they resell. It's
Yeah.
amazing. That's an incredible model.
Yep.
So most of my stock is actually from local brick and mortar shops. Their clearance end is what I buy. Do
Okay.
you have any local shops that you work with or want to partner with in the future?
Like you mean retail stores, like a retail
Yes.
arbitrage?
Hmm.
We've got Trade Mac, Trade Secret, TK Maxx, whatever you
Hmm.
guys call it. We've got
Yep.
one of those here, which sometimes is pretty good for sourcing at. And I've done quite a bit of sourcing at the Nike DFOs, which is the factory outlets. So I have done sourcing before and sold quite a few Nikes and retail arbitrage in that way. But no, I haven't really thought about working with any actual retail companies and trying to buy their dead stock or anything.
So I'm going to give you a secret to some of my supply. So everyone that's watching right now, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't before and smash the like button. So for me, one of the big suppliers for me is actually golf courses, which definitely would work in Australia.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, they need to get rid of their old stock and bring in the new stock. And
Mm-hmm.
I have several golf course relationships where they don't want old stock in the shop because it makes everything look cheap. They're an expensive golf club. They don't need a discount rack.
Yep.
So for them, it makes sense to just get rid of it. Also, golf equipment is fantastic. Also, we're in a pandemic, so people are outdoors more often.
Yep.
So I'm finding that golf shops are struggling right now because people are not allowed in, but golf is still open. So people can go, but not really go shopping inside. So that might be a way for you to approach. But do you have a card that you can leave with someone?
I've just thought about that last week because last week I actually did buy my first ever bulk haul.
Mm,
And the way that I came about that was because it was a pop-up store. And, I did leave them my number at the end of it and say, hey, give me a call and I can buy the stock out at the end. So that's what I did. And when I was talking about that in one of my own chats last week, somebody said, do you have a card that you have your phone number on? And it really made me think about that, thinking I need to order some cards to say I buy stuff.
hmm.
Please, yeah, approach me. So that's definitely something that I can do. I don't do it, but I think I will do that.
That's going to be tip number one. So we're going to hopefully come up with 3 ideas today.
Yep.
One is make a card to leave with people as you leave. I buy stuff. And on that card, I would add free consultation.
Okay.
And people will call and say, oh, I have whatever. And then your first answer is, oh, no, that won't sell well. So that they automatically get off their high horse and then you can come in at a more reasonable offer.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I offer consignment on my card, but nobody ever selects that because they want money now.
Yep.
But I feel like it's more comfortable thinking, you can get them thinking, oh, they don't realize how much work it is until you get them thinking about consignment. And then they would rather have the money now.
Yep.
And the second part of that is when you leave your card, also get their number.
Okay.
At the end of the day, when I text the garage sale owners, oftentimes I'm getting the rest of their stock for free. They
Yep.
don't want to make another trip to the charity store. And I'm offering that service for them.
Okay. So you're going to local garage sales
Hmm.
that
And
people are just
stores.
having in their home.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then when you go there, if they've got some decent looking stuff, you're handing a card saying at the end of the garage sale, whatever's left, call me
Hmm.
and we can make a deal, rather than you having to pack it all back and put it back in your house or take it to the charity shop.
And I always buy something before asking that.
Wow, so clever. Like, it's just, yeah.
You want to do reciprocation. I feel like people sometimes ask before they do anything. So buy
Mm,
something, be serious, let them know I do this for a living. So
mm,
when you are done, let me know. You can have, or let me have it now and you can have your Saturday back. You
yep.
know, I've had a couple of times where I was able to purchase everything, and that's when you get the best deal because you save them the trip.
Mm,
And the wealthier the people, the more their time is valuable. They
mm.
don't want that. So from my experience, some people want their day back,
Yeah.
especially if the wife is the one that wants the space. If
Mm,
she wants the space, it's gonna sell. You know.
mm,
And so I like to see who's running the sale, how serious they are, and then if they look distracted, perfect. If
mm.
they're relaxing having a lemonade, wrong family. They're not in a hurry. So it
Yeah.
depends. Also, you can say, is this the first, second, or third day, to find out where they are in the process. Obviously the first and the last day they're going to be more lenient.
Mm,
Also, local shops, going in there and asking about what's selling well, what's not selling well, gives me an idea. I have a relationship with a charity shop that they can't sell their glassware. They have too much glassware in this neighborhood. So I've made a trade with them. I will get all the shoes from you at the lowest rate, because here they fall in love with expensive shoes and those ones are very expensive. So I say, I'll just pay the normal rate for those shoes, but I'll also take the glassware with me.
yep.
And that one has been excellent because I just drop it off at a different charity shop on the way home.
Yep.
And that relationship, I think, is permanent because they
Okay.
really get a lot of glassware there.
And so you
Um,
don't sell the glassware, you
no.
get rid of it. But because you're taking their glassware, they're giving you a discount off the shoes.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So clever.
And I noticed that because their shop has a lot of glassware.
Yeah.
And that's always the best service that you can give people, in my opinion, is always space.
Mm,
People want the space. Now, wouldn't you like to park your car in the garage
yes.
again? And people were like, it's been so long, we don't even know what that's like.
No.
So it's nice to go in and chat about that. Also, um, let's talk about a little bit about wholesale.
Hmm.
So I like to consider what you're doing right now your day job.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
I'd like you to be Mel, the resale shop owner, online store owner. One of the benefits of getting maybe a warehouse or a separate space is you can use that to open wholesale accounts.
Yep.
But I would like you to start that right now. Are
Hmm.
there categories that you'd be interested in either making your own stuff or getting more into?
Um, oh gee, I don't know. I've wholesale's like a whole different area for me. Like
Hmm.
I've done wholesale in the past when I used to have another business. I had an online business where I sold kids party supplies, and I used to import all the party supplies in from America. And I used to have a lot of wholesalers for that because I sold party bag fillers and novelties and things like that. So I've kind of done all the wholesale side before, so I do have some experience in it. But I think it's just with the reselling now, I feel like I've just wearing so many hats. It's another thing. It takes quite a lot of time to source those wholesalers and find them. And I have actually gone back and looked at some of my old wholesalers and compared the prices on eBay to see if I can make money selling the same things that I sold once before. But there seems to be quite a lot of competition for them on eBay, and I'm just not sure I can make enough profit.
So one of the things I recommend is you can scale every person that you add full time, you can add 200 listings a week.
Hmm.
A person can do 40 listings a day, start to finish. I would say let's say a B plus for Mel standards, and
Okay.
hopefully you can go in and clean it up so that it's an A.
Yep.
But that's decent. And so if you had two full-time people, that would give you the time to work on wholesale. So
Mm.
this is something to think about, because from my experience, if you can get three full-time people, this is a finish line, then at that point you can actually take some time off too, and you don't have to work 7 days a week. Because
Yep.
right now it's a bit of a grind.
Yep.
So the finish line is you have to be able to communicate what you do to three more people to help you get to that stage.
that
And
next level.
it also is less efficient. I think it's important to recognize when we talked about this in the previous call that sometimes they're not going to do it as well as you, but that's okay
Mm,
because most businesses are run by people who don't want to be there
yeah,
and they still do just fine.
yeah.
Well, kind of. So that's I want you to think about that. So but the wholesale is I feel like that is more scalable
Mm,
than the one off and I want you to keep that in the back of your mind.
yeah.
I do that for about 10 hours a week.
Wow.
So
Okay.
over time that adds up because it takes a long time. Because
Mm,
it may take 3 to 6 months to get one product that comes in, and you're not even guaranteed that it will work.
yeah.
So you have to really just play that game, and that's maybe something that I would. Maybe your kids aren't interested necessarily in the resale part, but
Mm,
this part, the research part, what's trending, what are they into?
mm,
I was researching the top clothing items, and right now the top clothing item in the States are joggers,
mm-hmm.
and joggers that are jean colored are even more popular because it kind of looks like you're on nice on an online meeting, but really they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I was looking at if I were to source these from China, they're around $7 each,
Mm-hmm.
and they retail for maybe 20 to 25. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this is an opportunity right now to start looking at that.
Yeah.
And is what is it? What is the situation with you guys? Is it affected business, the pandemic?
Not so much where I am. I think, we've been really lucky in the state that I live in. We haven't even had a single case for
Mm.
over 2 months. So, we're kind of social distancing here, but I don't think it's really affected my state personally. Like a couple of the other states in Australia, yes, but not personally where I'm living.
Do you think,
Yeah.
okay, because I'm trying to find right now, I want you to find a unfair advantage that's local. What
Hmm.
what is around you that other resellers don't have access to?
Ooh, what is around me that other resellers don't have access to?
If it's too secret, then don't talk about it on this channel. But
I'm not even sure. Like, what do you mean that they don't have access to that I do?
so as an example, here, when I walk around the local businesses, I found a toy shop that has no online store.
Okay.
So I was thinking, whoa, that's very interesting. Also, where I live, it's a port city. So there are goods that move through here. I'm now looking into the auctions of the missing port items to see if I can
Okay.
get in and learn about that. But I'm looking for regional things that are around you. You know, it's just like ideally your daughter might date a distributor of something.
Okay.
And I feel like the family relations are the best types of wholesale situations. Like,
Mm,
my best wholesaler here, I was kind of like a son to him. And I
mm,
feel like great distributors have plenty of money. They're just deciding who they want to work with.
mhm,
And, there's a price to pay for that, but you have to become someone's friend in the business. I feel like that is the key. So
mm,
locally is the best because if the factory or the main distribution is in your city, you can go there and meet them.
I'll have to think about it a little bit more. And
Are there city meetings like chamber meetings or government meetings that you can go to with local businesses?
no, not really here.
Hmm.
No, no, we don't kind of have city councils and things like that in my particular state. So yeah.
What about stuff around the house? Anything left that hasn't been sold?
No, not really. Like my house is actually pretty, except for my reselling stuff, the house
Yeah,
is pretty minimal. Yeah.
that's
I've,
great.
I've kind of gone through and done all that kind of throw out, cull, resell, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so I think you're very efficient. So there's not really that many ideas, but I do want to talk about you running your household, if you don't
Mm.
mind.
Yeah.
How do you get all this done? You have 4 kids and a husband.
Yep.
What does a typical day in the life look like?
Well, I mean, obviously I get up and the first thing that I do in the morning is have coffee. I'm going to need my coffee for the day. But yeah, I mean, all the kids are at school, so it's pretty good. In the morning, I drop the younger two to school. The older two now have cars, so that's very helpful. They can go and help me. If I need groceries from the store, I can ask one of the kids to go and get it. So they can help me. They can do drop-offs, and having a couple of kids who can drive makes a big difference.
Mm.
The one thing that I've done as well with the two younger children is I've actually got them now catching the bus home from school. I used to drop them in the morning and pick them up, but the youngest one's in year 5 now. So I kind of felt like it was at the point where they catch the bus home together now, the two of them. And that means they've got the key to come inside, and that's freeing up extra time for me now, because I don't, before I was kind of doing that school run at 9:30 in the morning, and then 9 o'clock in the morning, and then by 2:30 in the afternoon, it's already time to start thinking about picking them up. Whereas now I can stay out sourcing later in the afternoon, or I can stay focused at the computer without having to do that extra trip. And because they're catching the bus home, it takes a little bit longer. So instead of finishing school at 3:15, they're now not getting home till 4:15 in the afternoon. So it's giving me that extra. That's made a big difference to getting stuff done. But yeah, I guess with a large family like that, I've always kind of told the kids that, we're a team and everyone has to pull their own weight. And, I don't think the kids really do expect me to do absolutely everything. We kind of take it in turns. The eldest one helps to cook, and the kids help do the dishes. And, there's some jobs that I do that they don't, but like bathrooms and stuff. But generally, I think it's just about because I've worked from home for like 20 years, the kids are so used to me being at home that they know that everybody kind of has to help out a little bit, so that they know that I'm working from home and doing stuff here. Even though they think it's all a little bit strange at what I do, it's almost embarrassing that I sell on eBay full time. They're all pretty good.
So you have a tremendous self-starting attitude and personality. I even saw your TikTok dances, and I was very impressed, because so maybe we can help some people who are watching right now who are maybe intimidated to get
Yep.
started. You're not
Yep.
intimidated to jump into something and learn how it works.
No, I've always been like that. I'm like a real creative person. As soon as I get an idea in my head, I want to run with it.
Hmm.
And I've never really been afraid of risk, because I think you learn from your failures. So if you don't take the risk, then you're never going to know. So I've always been one who's willing to take a risk and try new things. If something doesn't work for me, I've always just kind of said, this isn't working for me. I'm going to move on and try something else. And I've done multiple different types of businesses online, and as soon as I've got to the point where I've like, this isn't working for me anymore, I move on.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about, like, you reached out to me on Instagram, I think
Yep.
maybe asking some questions, and you mentioned that you got some advice from Nick and Andrea Hills in the UK.
Yep.
So how are you reaching out to people? Because you're learning quickly. Your YouTube is growing fast, your resale business is growing, and your TikTok was very impressive. You level up quickly. This is
Yeah.
cool. So are you not shy to ask for help?
No, I'm not shy to ask for help, and I'm very keen to learn. I'm always wanting to learn new things. Like, I thrive off learning new things, and I thrive off meeting new people and learning from people. And yeah, like you said, Nick and Andrea, they've been fantastic. I don't even know how I really came about. I just met Nick mainly through chats, and then reached out, and we've become really good friends now, and message almost on a daily basis. So, and he's almost been like a mentor to me, where he really does help me with my YouTube and the analytics. And I think not being afraid to reach out and make those friendships, and learn and ask for help. And you've got to be one of these people that doesn't just take. You've got to come in and want to learn and stuff. So, yeah.
Oddly enough, YouTube has taught me more about eBay than any other thing that I've done
Yeah.
recently, because they rank you. They let you know, okay, the video that you just posted is not gaining as much traction as it normally does. Maybe there's something wrong with your title and your keyword in your photo. And I'm thinking, eBay doesn't do this. They don't tell you, hey Mel, this item is not as good as the normal items you list.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Buy the stuff that works.
Yep.
So I love it. That's cool that
Yep.
you're delving into this. And yes, the analytics, I feel like each time you learn something new, it strengthens all the other ones. All ships
Yeah.
rise with the tide.
Yeah. And I think at first, when I first started YouTube, I wasn't really looking at those analytics. It was just kind of jumping in and just doing it, like I just had to get over the fact that things weren't perfect and just start. And now that it's kind of growing, I'm really, really interested in those analytic sides and, what's going on in the back end and how I can try and make it work better for me, and if I can make my channel grow at all and stuff.
Well, I definitely want to commend you because it is a lot to put yourself out there, because
Yeah.
you're also sharing your journey, which is very inspirational to a lot of people. You're very educational on your channel and your Instagram. So
Yeah.
I think this is important because you're sharing your journey so others can learn from you and
Yeah.
save a lot of time.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about one last thought. Getting to the next level, you want to triple your business. And I always ask the question, what does it look like when it's done?
Hmm.
Do you want help in an external space and everything? What would happen if, as an example, actually, before we get into that, what would happen if you got an external space and then all of a sudden all that stuff was out of your house?
Oh, heaven.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that
Oh,
would
okay.
be, that would be ideal. I mean, there's
Okay.
pros about working from home when you've
Sure.
got kids, because you're always here. You can just duck into the garage and get something. If I want to be, cooking or have the washing going, I've kind of got that stuff here. And if the kids are sick, then I'm here and can be with them. But I also think that it does get to that point where, to scale up, you need to have a separate space and be able to separate that home, because that's the hardest thing, is separating that home work balance and not letting it interfere. Like, it's very easy for me to sit here and work all night because I love to learn, and
Sure.
I would rather be sitting on YouTube learning and even researching stuff about, or listing even, than sitting in there watching Netflix
Sure.
at night or anything. So it's sometimes that I can get to the end of the week and think, wow, I didn't really take much time for me, or just to kind of stop. I get very distracted by being at the computer, and that's not great for work-life balance either. You've got to have a point where you take some time out as well. And I think working from home as a reseller, it's very easy to work a lot of hours in this job.
I think you're in an interesting situation because, like, in less than 10 years, you might have an empty nest.
Yep.
So, I almost wonder at this point, do you want to don't grow too quickly and miss your kids growing up? Because
Yep.
it's just, this is the final frontier.
Yep.
You raised them to this point. I meet so many younger moms, like in the sense that their kids are like newborn to 5.
Yep.
And one lady has 6 kids under 7. And I'm like, why are you even thinking about reselling right now? That's so
Yep.
much to
How do
do.
you even have time?
How are you even messaging me? Yeah, so it's interesting looking at the different models,
Yep.
and I'm excited for you because that transition is so different. And I almost feel like stay at home as long as possible. Let's
Yep.
make this efficient. But you are a machine. It's very efficient already.
Yep.
You can do 140 listings a week.
Mm.
I don't know if you can really do more than that without help, honestly.
I did 300 a couple of weeks ago. So, but that was like really pushing hard, and
Yeah.
I didn't go outsourcing as much that week. And, I really, really did just focus on listing for that entire week, because I'd bought the hall. So I really wanted to make sure I was trying to get a lot of my, death pile up. But I feel like I'm quite efficient with business because, one, I've studied it for a long time and really thrive off it. But also, like you were saying before, I worked at McDonald's as a manager for 7 years.
Hmm.
So, before having kids, and everything was so systemized there. And, you could walk into McDonald's here in Australia and probably walk into McDonald's where you are in America, and the Big Mac is cooked exactly the same way.
Hmm.
And I think it's really important to bring that into your business, because especially if you do want to bring an employee in, you've already got that system in place. It's much easier to teach somebody else if there's a workflow and a system. And I think I've kind of put those into my own business right from the start. because I've always known how important it is and how much better your workflow will work for you if you work to a system. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Just to summarize, we're going to work on maybe some balance because we don't want you to work too much. At a certain point, it's hard to cut off. I try to cut off around 6 p.m. and then that's it. Turn
Yep.
my phone off. Otherwise, I'll just work until I pass out.
Yep.
So turn it off. Work on making a card to leave with people.
Yep.
Get their phone number before you leave. And then I want you to capitalize on your previous experience ordering party supplies. I think that might be something your kids might be more into, but I
Mm.
want them to help. You have an army at home. They have to be able to help you a little bit on your
Yep.
business part,
Yep.
not just with the home.
Yeah. Well, my oldest son, he's obsessed with the sneakers. So
Yep.
that's when I started selling on eBay. I started with the Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really because of him, because I bought him a couple of pairs and then realized how cheap I was buying them for. And I thought, gee, I could sell these for more money.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was very knowledgeable about what Nike shoes were cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would actually enjoy coming with me to the outlet each weekend, and he would help me pick the shoes and tell me which ones were cool. And I actually sold Nikes for quite a long time.
I love it.
Making the profit, and a lot of that was, with his help, because he had that interest in it. But, and every now and then I say to him, let's go to the Nike outlet and see if there's anything to sell, and he'll come with me and show me what's cool. But I haven't been buying as much at the Nike outlets. I kind of moved from the retail to the secondhand. But yeah.
So the last idea before we call it a day today is a multiplier idea. So
Mm-hmm.
right now you're very efficient, but you need to multiply yourself. You need some leverage.
Yep.
You either need help from a person or a supplier, because I feel
Yep.
like your systems are already running very cleanly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, as we continue our relationship into the future, I would love you to update me on how you're trying to multiply the business,
Yep.
whether it's a partnership with someone to help work with you, or maybe even a person coming in, because I feel like you need someone that you really trust.
Mm.
So maybe not just a generic teenager employee or a uni student. Maybe you want somebody a little bit more serious that's on that level with you.
Yes.
Cool. Well, everyone that's watching right now, make sure you smash the like button
Yep.
on the way out today and subscribe. And the other half of this interview is on my channel. I'm Daily Refinement. And
Yep.
hopefully Mel will link that in the description below.
I will, definitely.
And
I'm going soft stickers.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.